But my destination is not that. My destination is Olam Haba. My destination is to do Chesed today.
Welcome to Prism of Torah with Rabbi Aaron Prisman, engaging Divrei Torah, packed with stories and practical insights. Find us wherever you get your podcasts or at prismoftorah.org.
This week, Parshas Tazria Metzora, I would like to discuss with you and share with you a concept about the importance of what these days between Pesach and Shavuos are all about. I had the zchus to speak about this topic in Ilas Achag in our shul over here in Beit Shemesh and Kilas Agra, and I was asked to say it over in my podcast, so I want to summarize it because I think we can learn a lot from this. Preparing for this topic actually made me realize what a Mesugal time this is for personal growth, and I will try to explain why in the best way possible, Metzora Hashem. We know that this is the time of counting towards Chag Matan Torah. From the second day of Pesach, as it says in the Pasuk, Usfartem lachem imachrat Shabbat, Sheva Shabbatot Timot Tiena, which means 7 full weeks, 49 full days, until we reach Shavuot, which is the Chag that we received the Torah. That's what we're commemorating, and we're counting towards. The obvious questions that scream out are the following. First of all, Shavuot is the only holiday that I can account for that does not have a fixed date. Rather, it is totally dependent on Pesach. Well, when was Pesach? Count 49 days. That's when Shavuos is. That is how it is defined in the Torah. But you would think Chag Matan Torah is such an important Chag that we received the Torah. Shouldn't it deserve its own fixed date? Question number 2. One of the names the Torah gives it, it says in the Pasuk, Shavuot, which literally translates to weeks. That is the name the Torah decided to give Chag Matan Torah? Not Chag Matan Torah, but weeks. Weeks sounds very mundane. What is that? It's just very ordinary. The answer to these questions, I think, will give us a better understanding of what these days are all about, and we'll try to bring it to even a deeper explanation of why it is such a Mesugal time. Look at the Ramban in Parshas Haomer in Perek Lamed Beis Pasuk Lamed Vav. It seems like he's coming to answer another question. He's coming to answer the question, why is Shavuot called by Chazal in the Gemara and Pesachim and other places? It's also called Atzeret. Atzeret. It sounds like it's coming from the root word of stop. Atzeret. And he says, over there in Parshat Haomer, it's talking about the combination of Sukkos and then Shmini Atzeret, which in Eretz Yisrael is also Simchas Torah. So 7 days we have Sukkos, and then the day after it's another Chag that is very juxtaposed to Sukkos right after, and it's called Shmini Atzeret. 8th day, Shmini Atzeret. So there's a famous mashal that Rashi brings down over there, and the mashal says that the 8th day is representing of after a king was with his sons and his loved ones for 7 days, he says, please linger on and stay with me. Stop and stay here one more day. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this 8th day of a Chag. And the Ramban quotes this Rashi, and the Ramban goes on to say, and I want to tell you something. A big chiddush, says the Ramban. The same is true about the combination between the first day of Pesach, all the days in between Pesach and Shavuos, they're also a package deal. Just like Sukkos was a package deal, and between the first day of Sukkos and the 8th day of Shmini Atzeret, all those days in the middle are a type of Chag, Sukkos. So too we have a similar thing, ad kedei kach, that the Ramban is willing to say that the first day of Pesach is a Chag, then all the days in between, up until Shavuos, is like a Chol HaMoyed. And Shavuos is like Shmini Atzeret, and that's why it's called Atzeret. So he answers the question why it's called Atzeret, because also Shavuos is part of a package deal, the lingering end of a package deal, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like the king and wanting us, the sons of the king, to stay with him for a little bit more. Based on this, we can answer our first 2 questions on a very simplistic level, and that is, the Torah is telling us everything's pointed to the same direction. This is a process. It's a package deal. It's not only about counting towards Matan Torah, which is very important in itself, but over here there's a process. You have to work on yourself and get yourself ready to be ready for Matan Torah. Everything's pointing towards that. That's why it's not a fixed date, because it's a package deal. It's dependent on Pesach. From then you start working on yourself. And also, that is why it's called Shavuos. The name is screaming out. It's all part of a package deal. All these weeks are important because these weeks are the opportunity HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us to work on ourselves to get ready for Shavuos. And that's why it became the known time that a person works on himself. That's why the minhag is to learn Pirkei Avos, which is all about changing yourself and Musar. And people learn about Kinyanei HaTorah to get ready to acquire the Torah. And people work on their midos, etc., etc. This actually goes very nicely to answer the famous Chinuch's question, who asks, I don't understand, if we're counting towards Matan Torah and that's what we're looking forward to, shouldn't it be that Sefiras Haomer should be counting down? When you're counting towards something, you're counting down, not counting up. The answer to that, says Rav Moshe Shapiro, an unbelievable answer. But I want to base it on a mashal that one of my kids said to me. And that is, there are two people that you promised them $50,000. One person, you promised them $50,000 at the end of 49 days from now. How is he going to count towards that 50 day? He's going to say 49, 48, 47, because he indeed doesn't care about the days between. He just cares about the final day, as opposed to the second person that you say, for the next 49 days, every day I will give you $1,000. He is going to count 1 day passed, already 2,000 in my pocket. 2 days passed. He's going to count up. That is exactly what Rav Moshe Shapiro answers. He says, every day is important. Every day is a Mesugal time for you to grow. And why is that true? So here I want to share with you a very deep idea that the Zohar brings down. There's a famous concept called Reshimo. Reshimo comes from the word in Lashon HaKodesh, Roishem. Roishem is an impression. The way HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, put into the spiritual and physical DNA, there's a process that at the first, anything you achieve in life, a lot of times the way it works is first you get that unbelievable feeling what it's like to do something that you really want to do, or what it's like to connect to Hashem on a very high level, but you didn't do anything to really achieve that. It's just either a feeling you got or a present HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you, and you didn't even work on that. And we will give examples to make it very practical and tangible. And then you see how much you want that. It tapped into your ratzon in your mind, and now you work really, really hard to get that. So the first time you got an abundance of chesed, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did a chesed for you, it doesn't have to be dafka HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we'll give an example for that. But that chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to you, that's chesed. You didn't do anything to deserve it. Then it suddenly goes away, and now it's din. You have to work really hard to earn that, and then you get that on your own. And that's why it's called the roishem, because at the beginning, it's a lot of chesed you get, then it's all left, but it leaves an impression by you. That impression stays in your mind, even if you're in your subconscious mind maybe, and that was created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to ensure you'll be compatible with the final outcome, that you'll reach that on your own, and that you'll be able to, and that you will want to do it because it'll remain by you. To give a mashal that will connect to this idea, let's take, for example, a father teaching his own child, a little kid, to ride his bike. The first time he takes him on his bike, the kid feels that experience as if he's really doing it. He's like, this is amazing. But really, it was all chesed of the father to the kid. The child did nothing. Now, the child really wants to try it on his own. The father said, yeah, go for it. Do it. Now, nothing's left except for that experience, that feel he had. Now, he's trying, he's working really hard. He keeps falling. That's badin. Now he's working really hard, and he's going to earn it. This should remind us of a Gemara Nida, Daf Lamed Amud Beis, where the Gemara says that a baby in the womb, the angel teaches him the entire Torah, but then right before he's born, an angel taps him and he forgets it all. Why? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create such a mahalach? Because it's the same thing we're saying. We want to ensure that the kid will be compatible with all the Torah, and that impression that's left with him, that reshimoy, that's roshim, will ensure that he will be able to connect, and he'll want to work hard to attach himself to the Torah, but he'll earn it and he'll feel good about himself. Because when you work hard for something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his infinite wisdom realized that if you don't work hard for something, at the end of the day, you're not going to feel good about yourself. And that will be Nahama de Kisufa, which means you're going to be embarrassed to get credit in the world to come if Hashem just showers us with abundance of chesed. The Zohar says the days, the package deal that we said, that Ramban said, between Pesach all the way to Shavuos works in the same way. The first night of Pesach, everyone is on a high. You're like, wow, you can feel the Kedusha in the air. There's many proofs to this. We'll just bring one. A person doesn't have to worry about the mazikim at night. Ad kedei kach, the Kriyat Shema doesn't need to be said fully. All the psukim you say to protect you from all kinds of impure spiritual entities, you don't have to say, because there's a special chesed, a protection that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us, even though we didn't do anything to deserve it. Then it all goes away. And then from that point on till Shavuos, we have to work hard to earn that same level on our own. So why is it 49 days that we count? So I want to suggest, because 49 days, we know that Klal Yisrael reached a very low level of Tumah, of the 49th level. To be able to be ready for Matan Torah, we have to remove each one of those levels. We got that in one zap out of Chesed on the night of Pesach. And now we have to work night by night, day by day to remove each level. That's why it's 49. Because now Badin, we have to earn it. Badin, we have to earn it. But it's even more than that. It's not just removing the negative level of Tumah. We know that when we got the Torah, we were on a very high level of Kedusha. Nun Sharei Bina. So every day is not only removing the negative, but we also have to work in the positive. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the Bria that these days, yes, they're time of Din, and it's known. The Sfarim HaKadoshim bring down, these are the days of Din, and we understand why it's Din, because we're working hard to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu we're going to earn to be able to be compatible with the Torah, and we're working hard for it. And that's why also Talmidei Rabbi Akiva passed away during this time, the time of Din. But each one has their own journey, and they have to work hard. And hence, the point we're trying to make is that these days are very, very unique opportunity, 49 days, unique opportunity a year to work on personal growth so that we'll be able to be compatible with the Torah and grow and get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and enhance our kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I would like to end off with a story that I think brings the point home. The major point is that you might think at the beginning in our questions, it sounded like we're thinking there's a hallway over here during these days, just like this world is a hallway. And then there's a taklin. There's an unbelievable business lounge waiting for us at the end. But really, it's all a package deal. The hallway itself is part of the lounge because it's changing us and we need it because that's the only way we're going to earn the lounge and the lounge will be compatible with us. So it changes us. I would like to end with a story that I heard b'shem Reb Meir Simcha Sperling, and he himself was a Baal Maaseh. He's a rabbi and he was at Kever Rachel one late night and he just missed a bus and he didn't remember what triggered him, but he didn't want to wait for another hour for another bus to get home. He lives in Ma'alot Dafna, and hitchhiking to there, we know is not so easy for Kever Rachel. You have to be careful to stay inside the walled area and you get a lift and you have to make sure it goes all the way to your destination to some safe place. And he says suddenly a frum yeshivish looking Israeli man pulled over to him and he says, so the rabbi says, where are you going? So the person in the car tells the rabbi, where do you need to go? He goes, Malot Tafna. So the driver said to him, okay, it's in his broken Hebrew. He spoke English. Yeah, it's on my way. No problem. It's on my way. As he started driving, he realized that Bichlal, the driver, lives in Ramat Shlomo. So he says, you told me it's on your way. This is totally out of your way. So this Rabbi Simcha Sperling says this totally changed his whole way of thinking. He couldn't believe what this driver said. And the driver said to him, I'll tell you what you don't understand. You think my destination is my home. And indeed, if it's my home, you're right. Ramat Shlomo, or really, Baalot Dafna is not on the way to Ramat Shlomo. But my destination is not that. My destination is Olam Haba. My destination is to do chesed today. And hence, dropping you home is exactly on the way. Who thinks like that? His entire framework was different. This driver realized exactly what's happening. It's not just the hallway. It is the business lounge as well. Have a good Shabbos and a meaningful Sefiras Haomer.
This concludes another episode of the Prism of Torah. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the podcast and give a 5-star rating. You can also find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts or our own website, prismoftorah.com, where we have a full archive of all our past episodes. We would like to thank Yona Vefa for the recording equipment and Eli Podcast Productions for handling all our post-podcast productions. Join us next week for another enlightening conversation on the Prism of Torah.